Merge is my sleeper board game hit this year. We'll be giving away a free copy of this game later in this video. Stick around for the details. And this is definitely a game that you will want to try. I expected very little from it, and it didn't catch my interest even a little bit when I saw it at Gen Con this year, and yet it's the best game I've played in 2024. Let me tell you why on Legendary Tactics. So I vaguely remember seeing this game at Gen Con this year, but I didn't give it the time it deserved. Pandasaurus Games sent me a review copy, and let me tell you, I'm glad they did. It's been a wonderful surprise. I like to offer balanced reviews, so the final part of this video will offer my upside and downside thoughts. The reason I love this game so much is that my entire family, including my wife and my daughter, who I would describe as board game hesitant or board game averse, wanted to play it again and again. When you finish a game, you immediately want to play again because you know you can improve your score. In our first 2 days with this game, we played 4 times. I've never had a game that appealed that much to my family, and I've had a lot of games to the table. So this is the breakthrough gateway game that I've been searching for. So this caught me completely off guard, and needless to say, I had to play it cool because I didn't want to seem too overeager when my kids were so ravenous to play it again. But in the inside, my head was exploding with joy that I had finally found the one. And I've played this game with adults too, boys at Legendary Tactics, other friends, and they loved it. After their first game, my friends unanimously gave this an 8 out of 10. So what did they love? Well, I think the mechanism had a lot to do with it. The mechanism of this game is a perfect blend of strategy and accessibility. It's a dice game that isn't completely dominated by luck. It's dice manipulation and mitigation. As the game advances, your pool of dice grows, so it feels like your options are growing. And if you want to increase your odds of hitting a particular number, you can take these modifier tiles and you can sacrifice another discovery space in order to hit the goal that you want to hit. So this gives you a real sense of control and agency in the game. You can also choose these modifier tiles based on their power. The bird tile, for instance, let you adjust a die to any number, but it's also a tile that you likely wouldn't choose until later in the game. So there's lots of strategy for players like me, but there's also some randomness for players who enjoy less strategy-driven games. The best part about this game is that it's really fast to learn. The rules are logical, and it's a ton of fun. Recently, there's been a real surge in nature-based games since Wingspan's incredible success. Rather than escaping to a fantasy world, these games are set in a very real world, so the theme feels familiar. Grow your islands, discover research, and encourage biodiversity in your habitats. So by design, this game will develop a rich tapestry of color and variety as players attempt to bring their islands to life. And in many other games I've played, the round tracker is disconnected from the theme. It's simply a turn marker. But in Emerge, the communal sailboat moves from the mainland down to the research station, revealing research tokens as you go. And it adds dice to your pool as it sails. So as a result, the game feels like it accelerates and your progress is very tangible. And it feels like there's a countdown on to race and build your habitats. Components and aesthetics. I don't need to tell you how gorgeous this game is. It's really pleasant. Tom Goyan, the artist, tells me that his artwork is influenced by French illustrator Benjamin Flow and American printmaker Gustave Bauman and Chinese illustrator Lisk Fang. It's a rich, warm, retro color palette that emphasizes graphic shapes and textures. At the end of the game, players feel proud of their accomplishments. The final tableau is gorgeous, and as you play, you don't really take time to look up and appreciate the full panorama. Thankfully, there are no wooden cubes in this game, and the game uses a nice range of well-designed meeples. These oversized cards have a linen finish, and it comes with a mitt full of dice. A unique long board rather than a traditional square or rectangle. The player mats are thin, but very functional, as you slide cards around and adjust your personal powers throughout the game. The modifiers are heavy cardboard, and the tray organizes the game beautifully into the box. If you'd like to see my other video where I squish 12 games into this box for a surprise vacation reveal, I'll put the link at the top. And I should mention that the board is really well designed because you can sit anywhere around and reach what you need. The location of your islands only matters if you care about the revealed research tokens. While I do have some nitpicks with the content of the rulebook and some buried rules, there are lots of visuals and it's reasonably well organized. I love that they include strategy tips for new players. like the one on page 6 in the top right here. One rule that wasn't explicitly stated was whether you could use any die or only a crab die to research a crab. We just house ruled that and required that you must use a crab specific die. We also needed to decide if adding +1 to a 6 makes it a 1, or if you can't do that. And we decided that more options are better, so we allowed it. The game does lack player aids, which would be useful for new players. Overall, it was quick to learn and quick to teach, and I think a lot of that was because of the clarity on the player boards and the cards. Comparisons. This game feels like the Fox Experiment, another Pandasaurus game with lots of dice chucking and a multiplayer solo feel. They're very different games, but the mechanisms do feel familiar. I'd also compare this game to Dice Manor from Arcane Wonders, where you assign dice to your manor to build and market the best manor of all. Thematically, there's a kinship with a game like Cascadia, where you build your terrain and populate it with wildlife, but they're fairly different games. There's enough about this game that feels fresh though, and it makes it stand apart. This is definitely one I'll be keeping in my collection. If you're here for the free game giveaway, here's what you need to do. Subscribe to our channel, follow the Pandasaurus Games page, and also add a comment below. Do you have a favorite nature game or Pandasaurus game? Add your comment. What games have worked with your family and friends as bridges between light and heavy games? Add your thoughts. Or do you like our style of review? If so, what do you like? What could we do better? With every game, I like to offer both upsides and downsides, so I'll finish this video with my final thoughts. The upside of this game, I think it's the perfect length. With 4 players, my family will take about 48 minutes for a game. We all know how to play now. Everyone is engaged the entire time. There's lots of simultaneous play, so players are always engaged. And it always ends right when you feel like your islands are about to explode with life. And like a good play, having the actors leave the stage while you still want them on stage is what I look for in a game. It could go one turn longer, but as it is, it keeps players wanting more. For the downside, there's minimal player interaction, and the game is essentially multiplayer solo. Being the first to get a face-up research token or hitting the objectives on the goal cards is the extent of the interaction. However, for a family, that lack of head-to-head competition is an upside. Players aren't vying for all of these tectonic spaces or for modifier cards. There's enough for everyone. So this point comes down to preference. I really do wish that they had included a scoring sheet that breaks down how points are earned at the end of the game, like Wingspan does. My biggest critique is that this game doesn't accommodate a 5th player, and I have 5 people in my family. There's no solo mode. That being said, I would absolutely buy an expansion if there was a 5 to 6 player upgrade. Overall, my friends give this game an 8 out of 10. My wife and daughter give it 10 out of 10 and 9.5 out of 10 respectively, and I give it a 9 out of 10. I think my enjoyment comes primarily from my family enjoying it so much, but in the end, maybe that's the most important metric. Now get out there, get gaming, and be legendary.